Hello, welcome to Pen and Gadget. This is the Kaweco Liliput. There is a W in there, but it's apparently pronounced with a V. I'm not going to go through reviews like normal, fountain pen reviews would do. I give a more feeling-based approach. This pen was kind of my gateway drug. I didn't know that there were such things as a pocket fountain pen, let alone I wasn't even into fountain pens. I don't even know how it came about, but online I saw something. It was probably like to do with a gadget of some sort, and then, someone had a photo of one. Anyway, I quickly went to Amazon, and this became a little bit of a research project that I did. I looked heavily into it, and a lot of people had the brass version. Some people had the aluminum. This is it in stainless steel. I like heavy, dense objects. Even if it's for writing, I like something that's substantially heavy. And for me, the brass, I don't like that brass tarnishes. Now, I don't really have that kind of oily pH balance in my skin to damage brass or make it stain quickly. So for me, there's no it's gonna get a nice patina over time. I think it'll just get slightly duller for me, and that's it. So I decided, let me go with stainless steel. Almost the same weight, but I could also polish it easily and keep it looking new if I wanted to. So anyway, I got this pen, and I gotta tell you, it scratched an itch I didn't know I had. This pen is kind of one of those almost perfect objects that it's there's not much that could be improved on it visually. Now, mechanically, there are some issues with the threads. We'll talk about that in a second. But visually, it's just like this elongated pill shape that is satisfying. I mean, in the hand, it's tiny. I mean, I have medium to large size hands, and it's a tiny thin pen. This thing is about, I think, 4 inches. Let's see. Yeah, it's under 4 inches. It's about I would say 3.8 inches in length when it's capped. And I gotta tell you, there's something satisfying about it. Even if it's just like a fidget tool, it's it scratches that itch. So let's uncap this puppy. Now we're gonna talk about the problem. Okay, and even on camera, there we go. It's hard to do. Okay, to get this to post, well, as you can see, it takes a little bit of finesse. A lot of other people have talked about this on camera as well. I'm just gonna simply say, yeah, that's the design. The design is there for an aesthetic reason, not for a mechanical reason. It's domed on the end to match the dome on this end. And that's why it's that way. I don't think there was any way around it other than making it a cutoff at the end, which would have made the design, not as pleasing. So I understand why they went that way, and that's it. It has a very tiny nib that is on a lot of Kaweco pens. I believe this is a number 2. I'm not 100% sure, but it's an extra fine. It absolutely is extra fine. It writes like a scalpel. It's very precise. It feels really good when you're writing. It's got a tiny bit of tooth to it, not a lot, but a tiny bit. But otherwise, it just feels good in the hand. Writing, I mean, it's one of those things that you can't write, I would say, a journal entry with this thing without your hands cramping if you have big hands. I like holding small pencils, although the more I got into this hobby, it seems like I kind of swayed over to the other side now and was like, oh, you know what? I kind of don't like the small, thin size for writing. For drawing, I can kind of do it because I can get a little bit further away and move up and down depending on what I'm doing artistically. But as far as writing's concerned, yeah, it might get a little cramp, and that's just with, the time spent doing this. So coming in a little closer here, let's talk about this. Now, this pen started this little, I guess, downward spiral, the rabbit hole, if you will, of pocket pens. And so I immediately went from no pens, no fountain pens, to pocket fountain pens. Now that's a little odd because usually people kind of go, they gradually step from the top down, and maybe they have, a cheap, just whatever, almost disposable type of pen, and then they gradually step their way up. I kind of went in, I don't know, top/middle. These are a little bit more niche. Not a lot of people want to grab one of these and play around with the idea of a small pocket pen, but I did. I like it, and this is pretty much where I landed in the beginning of my collection. So I'm not going to do a writing test per se. I have horrible penmanship. I can work on it, and we'll get there, but I can draw with this pen. In fact, I've got a couple of drawing samples. Let's see, pull out one of my books here. And this is a work in progress. I take time to do my sketches and whatnot, but here's the back of this book that I'm working on. I did this with two different pens. This was a different pen, but this was the Liliput, and it has, really, really good fine detail work with this little pen. It works out really well for me and what I like to draw. Now, this paper is not the best for fountain pens because of the fibers can eventually clog them up. However, it didn't. I will note that. A lot of people warned about it, but anyway, this is kind of what I do. I sketch and I draw, and I like to do old pirate ships and maps. Anywho, so this little fella, it's, I guess I would say it's on the edge of too small to really do, long drawing sessions, but for something quick, 15-minute sketches here and there, I say this would actually be a great pen to have, because ultimately what you're ending up having is something that you can actually keep with you, writes well, draws well, and it has that, it's the gadget thing. It's the, I've got this cool little sleek thing in my pocket. It's got this sort of, I want to say, you want to behold it. You want to covet it. And it's got that sort of factor. Now, in the end, I think what I've gone through with my pen collecting and how it's, kind of gone over the deep end a little bit, this is kind of like the beginning, the origin, and then I've gone in both directions. I went expensive and cheap, or expensive and cheap, however you want to point your arrows. But yeah, this is kind of the gateway. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't expensive. That's relative to what you make in, lifestyles. But I think I got it on Amazon for about $60 US. And again, it kind of scratched an itch, and immediately I was like, I want more. Now, there are more, and there are many more. And things have gone a little sideways, if you will. This was also another one. I'm going to tease this guy. This is a little fountain pen that is definitely a pocket fountain pen. Brass and wood, which is actually quite nice, two-tone nib. But we will get into this later. This is actually the first real pocket fountain pen I got, but it was plagued with problems, and in the end, I wanted something that was a brand name. You could literally find these online for $2. Yes, I know, $2. It's actually damn good, and we'll do a review on one of these next. Next. We'll see which order I put these out in. But yeah, this is another kind of gateway drug fountain pen, and again, we will go into that in another episode. Anyway, this has been Pen and Geek. I hope this kind of gives you more of a reassurance. Yeah, go get it. That's horrible. I'm like the drug dealer. Yeah, just do it. Come on, I'm gonna push it on you. No, I just think ultimately this is a great little pen to have just in your collection. If you're going to collect pocket pens specifically, this is one of the ultimate pocket pens. I don't think you can go wrong with this price-wise, style-wise, just in terms of just the quality. I'll touch on this before we go. I've got a lot of pens, a lot of pocket pens, some of them bespoke and handmade and not cheap. And I gotta tell you, the threads on this, oh my God, buttery smooth. I gotta tell you, they did a wonderful machining job. It is so smooth once you can cap it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, once you can cap it, it feels like it's on. It feels like it's on bearings. That's how smooth it is. It feels like it's on bearings. And it's just, you can like spin things on and off, and it's so smooth. That's really great. And I gotta tell you, there are other pens, which we will get to, that do not have that feel. And this one does. It really has that satisfying, and it doesn't come loose. Like if you shake it, it's not coming loose, it's not coming off, and then just a little twist, and that's it, it's open. So there's like the tiniest bit of like bite right at the very end, which is what you want, and it's not going anywhere, but it's super, I mean, look at that, it almost fell off. I just spun it and it was like shot right off. Anywho, that is something I'll talk about with a lot of other pens. It's just so well made, so well machined. The laser etching, I mean, let's get up right in there. Really well done laser etching. I don't think you can get better laser etching than what they've done here with such tiny, I mean, this is tiny, right? I mean, this is borderline like insane, because look, you know, that's my pinky, and then we're going up. Yeah. So very well done. Very, very well done. Anywho, now we're going to leave. This has been Pen and Geek. I've got many more, I guess, overviews rather than reviews. Maybe they're reviews. We'll see. But I've got a bunch of other things. We also get into some cool little cameras. I'm going to flash that real quick. Yes, that's a camera. Yeah, so signing off. This is the Pen and Gadget Geek saying sayonara.